Hello, how's it going? In today's video, I'm covering Civil War in the Plaguelands and Servants of the Betrayer from Chronicle Volume 3. So let's go! The Lich King was a little bit furious. Illidan's attack had cracked his icy prison on the frozen throne, and his essence was bleeding through. He was losing his power, and as a result, his hold on the scourge was weakening. Many of the undead in Lordaeron were starting to feel something familiar return to them, something they'd lost in death. Free will! Most of them were like, what the bloody hell's all this about? They wandered about aimlessly, ever so slightly confused. But there were some who saw the Lich King's weakness as an opportunity for revenge. One of them was the Banshee, Sylvanas Windrunner. Ever since she died, she'd been desperately fighting against the Lich King's commands, but his will was too strong. As a result, she bloody hated him, and his lackey Arthas as well. Bunch of knobs. Vengeance and rage consumed her soul, but there was nothing she could do, until now. Sylvanas rallied other free-willed undead and gave them a purpose. Unfortunately, the lives that were stolen from them were gone. They'll never have those back, but they can still totally have revenge if they want. And the undead were like, yeah, I suppose that's better than nothing. Sylvanas also suggested that their first victim should be Arthas, because he's a right jerk. However, Sylvanas wasn't the only one looking to kill Arthas. Varathras and the other Dreadlords had also learned of the Lich King's weakness. They'd taken control of part of the Scourge with the intention of invading Northrend. They knew killing the Lich King's champion was the first step to achieving this goal. Arthas himself was in no condition to do much about this. His own power was fading just like the Lich King's, although he was totally willing to fight. But he and the remaining Scourge that were still loyal were commanded to abandon Lordaeron and return to Northrend. The Lich King needed them at his side because he knew it was only a matter of time before that bastard Kil'jaeden struck again. And he was totally right to be worried about an attack, but it wasn't coming from Dreadlords or Sylvanas, it was coming from Outland. Meanwhile, Kael'thas and Lady Vashj had reached Outland and were making their way through the barren wasteland of Hellfire Peninsula. A little bit annoyed, to be honest, because Illidan was nowhere to be seen. Naga and Blood Elves wandered the desolation for days until they finally saw Maiev and her watchers. See, the thing is, Maiev had managed to capture Illidan, but she had no bloody idea how to get back to Azeroth. The portal she'd used to get to Outland was gone, and although there were loads of other portals dotted about, none of them seemed to lead home. However, they had discovered something unexpected. Soldiers from the Alliance. Remnants of the Sons of Lothar had established a base called Honor Hold, and Maiev figured they were probably her best chance of getting off this crappy planet. But just before the Watchers could reach the stronghold, Kael'thas and Lady Vashj struck. Maiev and her peeps desperately tried to defend themselves but were hopelessly outnumbered by Blood Elves and Naga. So they were forced to cheese it into the wilds as Kael'thas and Lady Vashj liberated Illidan. At first, Illidan wanted to go after the Watchers, but he thought better of it. That hadn't worked out so well on the Broken Isles, and he wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. So if you're enjoying this never-ending cycle of Illidan does a thing, but then Maiev shows up, fear not, it'll probably happen again. Illidan looked at his new forces and was like, cool. The Blood Elves were highly trained. Their leader was a gifted sorcerer, although he seemed to have a few inner demons. Illidan also sensed the turmoil within the Blood Elves' hearts, and he immediately just went ahead and ruined their day by bluntly saying, there's no cure for magic addiction, bruh. But before Kael'thas could be all like, you what, mate? Illidan promised to find them a new source of magic, one even greater than the Sunwell, that would end their torment. This wasn't ideal, but Kael'thas was intrigued nonetheless. It's not often you meet someone with such great mastery of magic. Plus, they'd already come this far, so bollocks to going back now. Illidan then laid out his plan to seize Outland from the Legion. Step 1, shut down the numerous gateways around the Shattered Realm. This would stop the Legion from sending reinforcements. Step 2, march on Magtheridon's seat of power, the Black Temple, in Shadowmoon Valley. The campaign was unforgiving. Illidan wasn't really a people person. He asked much of his followers, and he never really took the time to just say, good job, Steve. But his unwavering sense of purpose was just brilliant, and really energised his soldiers. As Illidan and his forces closed in on the Black Temple, they found new allies among the Broken. These weird-looking creatures referred to themselves as the Ashtung tribe, and were led by a former Draenei exarch named Akama. He also wanted to liberate the Black Temple from Magtheridon, albeit for different reasons. As you may remember, this temple used to be the holy Draenei settlement of Karabor. Reclaiming it would surely redeem the Broken in the eyes of the Draenei race. And we're leaving it there! In the next Volume 3 video, Illidan and his mates are going to assault the Black Temple, Kil'jaeden is going to give Illidan an ultimatum, and Arthas is going to finally put that bloody helmet on. As always, thanks very much to those of you who support the channel as patrons. If anyone would like to support the channel in that way, links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all of that bollocks. And all that's left to say is, thanks for watching, and see ya!